Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, Managing Editor of Canada's Entrepreneur. Joining me today is Mark Stephenson, President and co-founder of Cube Business Media. Thanks, Mark, for joining us today.
Mario, thanks for having me on and looking forward to the conversation.
Well, one of the things that you folks do at Cube is put on these business transitions forum every year. Tell me, first of all, a little bit about the forum, what it is, and what makes it unique.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's the Business Transitions Forum started 9+ years ago in our own backyard here in Vancouver, and it's all about growth and transition for business owners and entrepreneurs thinking about their business. And maybe I'll back up a little bit, Mario. How it all started is, we were involved in a fairly significant national business that focused on real estate conferences and trade shows right across the country in every major city. And we had sold that to a large public American company, went through quite a process, quite a learning process, if you will. I stuck around with that company for a number of years, part of it contractual, part of it, it was a great relationship. It was a great marriage. And once I left it, when we started Q Business Media, we started the Business Transitions Forum from the process we went through when we sold our business. No one was doing a conference, high-level conference on exit strategy for business owners, selling your business, if you will. So we already knew the conference space because that was the business we were in, and we had just gone through a very detailed, robust negotiation to sell our business to, again, a large public American company. So pleasantly surprised no one was doing a conference on this. We jumped in, a lot of baby boomers coming through the system, a lot of money on the sidelines. So we built a conference, the Business Transitions Forum, BTF, from the process we went through when we sold a large business.
Interesting. Let's talk a little, some of the specifics here about the forums. How many of them are there right now?
In Canada, there's 5. We started in Vancouver. We moved to Toronto because you do, and then we had Calgary and Edmonton, and then we went out to Atlantic Canada, and then during COVID, we had a bit of extra time on our hands, so we were replanning our business, if you will. We sort of came to the conclusion, as much as Calgary and Edmonton were both great conferences, it made sense to consolidate one for Alberta, one for BC, one for Ontario, one for Alberta. And when we did that, we were being gently nudged by some of our sponsors, our national corporate sponsors, to maybe look at a secondary market like Winnipeg and go into Manitoba. So we consolidated Calgary and Edmonton. We added Winnipeg. So there's 5 in Canada, and then we started going down into the States, where we were in California last year, and we're up and running again for California this year, along with some others. We'll see how things play out with the U.S.
You foresee both in Canada and in the US the potential to add more forums.
Yeah, in fact, my business partner and I were away last week, just taking some time away from the business to work on the business, not in the business. And we are, without leaking too much information here, Mario, we are looking to grow in Canada, and both with the Business Transitions Forum and some of our other brands. SAS North is probably one of the most well-known national conferences, tech conferences in Canada. Very, very successful event in Ottawa every year. We also have another brand called Tech Exit. We have another brand called Tech Talent. So we've got 4 or 5 different brands, but BTF is the one that's been around the longest, and yeah, we're certainly experiencing more growth there.
Who typically attends these?
Uh, Business owners, entrepreneurs that are thinking about their business. And, there's a lot of commentary about, when to sell your business. And some people say the best time to start thinking about selling your business is the day you start it or the day you acquire it. And that probably is fair to a certain extent. So the entrepreneurs are thinking about the exit, the transition, if you will. But again, if I can swing back to our unfortunate pandemic days, we had some time to think about our business, and we bolted on the growth elements. So it's growth and transition, which was a great move. We attract more entrepreneurs each and every conference, each and every year, by talking about growth, not just exit. Some entrepreneurs, in fairness, don't want to talk about or be exposed in a marketplace that they're selling their business or thinking about selling their business. So interesting process for us to learn. Um, but now we can say, someone can say they're coming to the BTF conference to learn more about growth before maybe I exit one day.
Beyond the actual business owners, can you talk, Mark, a little bit about the other types of industry professionals that are at these conferences?
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of advisors, a lot of buyers. A lot of those advisors make us better businesses, better entrepreneurs. So, you've got lawyers, you've got accountants, you've got wealth managers, you've got professional coaches, but then you've also got the buyers, the private equity, the private holdings, the various individuals that want to invest in businesses that are going places. So it's a nice mix. I mean, the easiest way for us to explain the room, Mario, is 50% is the business owners, the entrepreneurs, 50% is the buyers and advisors. In some cases, we go as high as 70 or 72% are entrepreneurs, but generally it's a 50-50 mix of entrepreneurs versus advisors.
And can you also talk a little bit about the forums themselves and the format? And if I'm a business owner that comes to one of these, what can I expect?
Yeah. It's a great format, but it's ours, so we're biased. But there's keynote presentations, there's breakout sessions, there's fireside chats, there's executive roundtables. There's a different there's a nice mix of networking, but also education and people are there today. I'm not sure we want to focus on today being April 2nd, but a lot of people attend for networking, a lot of people attend for education, and right now with the way the world's moving and changing so quickly, these entrepreneurs really want to get out and network and talk with other entrepreneurs about their business or how they're dealing with certain situations. Yes, the lawyers and accountants are extremely important to our businesses. I mentioned when we sold the business, we had a full house of advisors, and I could not say enough about them. When we go sell our next business, we're going to have advisors because they make a big difference. We got to keep our hands on the steering wheel while we're thinking about selling businesses as well.
Exactly. Now, Mark, when you look at this whole area of exiting a business, how big is that right now in Canada? That whole area of the transition of business ownership.
It's big. It's big. I mean, I don't have a finite number for you, but with the aging population, if you will, the baby boomers still coming through. I mean, there's another 10, 15 years of massive transition based on what we can see today. And there's so many businesses out there, all walks of life, bricks and mortar type businesses. When I say brick and mortar type businesses, traditional businesses, because we also have that other brand, Tech Exit, that deals on the tech side. But you're dealing with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of businesses that are thinking about transition here in Canada.
Yeah. Now you talk to obviously a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, probably almost daily. What's the biggest challenge and concern that entrepreneurs in Canada have these days?
Great question. I think, business climate is quite interesting right now, but I think one of the biggest takeaways, for me is, for an entrepreneur, a business owner to understand they're not by themselves. They've got a business, they've got a team, and it's hard for us entrepreneurs to see through that. But when you realize and you see some of the great people we get to work with, they do make a difference. And, we're not going to be around forever. We're going to transition. And so you have to go through the right process of directing, guiding, motivating, building, sharing with your teams to truly grow. And if I can just stop and talk about growth, it's hard. It's very, very hard. We're going through a growth phase yet again right now. So growth and scaling, it's great to say we're growing, we're scaling, but you have all these ideas on growth, but it's executing. It's really, really challenging to execute on these ideas that you have as an entrepreneur, because you've got the rest of your business that you are focusing on while you're trying to grow the business, work with your team to grow the business.
Excellent. Anything else you'd like to add, Mark?
I nothing really, Mario. I mean, we're excited. I mean, 2025 is certainly turning into be an interesting year. I don't know if that helps or hurts us. We're in great shape today. We've taken our lumps and bruises with COVID and so forth, but we're having our best year by far, and not a lot of businesses would say that today. But I do think there's some silver linings that go on when we go through some challenging, like the tariff wars today, the geopolitical issues and what have you. But I do feel that, and we're seeing it, to be honest with you, that more entrepreneurs want to get out and talk with other entrepreneurs about their business. They feel better about talking and learning about different situations that maybe they can apply to their business. So we do have our spring lineup coming, April 22nd in Calgary. It's almost a full house. We will have a full house in Atlantic Canada in Halifax, and then we wrap up the spring year in Toronto. And again, very fortunate. We've built great programs. We got great corporate support, so we're excited about the spring season and the balance of 2025.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Mark, for joining us today.
Mario, really appreciate it. Thank you.
That was Mark Stephenson, who is president and co-founder of Cube Business Media. I'm Mario Toneguzzi, managing editor, and Canada's entrepreneur, for joining us today.